Hi and welcome everyone. So I just want to say I feel like the energy is a bit
أقول
Aljazzi, what do you think?
Oh, we need more energy for sure.
We need more energy for sure. So can we say welcome to HCI? Woohoo! Let's get some energy. So I'm really happy to be here with AlJazzi Alahmadi. I'm super excited to hear and learn more about Aljazzi. We met a little bit earlier today, and I told her, I don't want to get to know you yet. Save all the amazing information so when we get on stage, I can actually hear it for the first time, just like you, and be able to engage with her. So I just want to say thank you for making the time for being here.
Of course, I'm very excited to be here and talking to everyone today.
Yeah. And I really think that it's wonderful to have this platform, to have someone like you that we can showcase Saudi talent, showcase what females and young women are doing in different fields. I was telling you about my two daughters. They were here today. I wish they were here right now to see you, but I'm going to make sure I show them a segment of this and say this is the future of Saudi Arabia.
MashaAllah, your daughters are very inspiring as well. I saw them today.
So tell me, I want to get to know you finally a little bit more. Tell me, Aljazzi, what is it about your life journey that makes you who you are? I want to hear a little bit about those turning points and just get to know you a little bit more.
Yes, of course. I really think there are turning points in my life where my path suddenly shifted. When I was a kid, my mom, who's right here in the audience, she placed me in مدرسة تحفيظ Quran, and I was there من التمهيدي إلى ثالث ابتدائي. And then after that, the organization Mawhiba came to be around 2009, and they had this test where they wanted to screen for talent across Saudi. And so they went directly to the schools. They told them, please nominate the students that you think have talent. And I was one of them, and my teacher actually changed my life because she nominated me. And from there on, I moved schools. I went to a completely different school, completely different curriculum, and I got so many different opportunities. One of them is the second turning point in my life, which is when I went to Olympiad al-Chemia. And I have a very important note here. So I really did not like science. Science is not my favorite subject at school. I really liked math. And so when I got this opportunity, I didn't want to go. I was like, why do I want to spend extra time doing more school? Like, I'd rather just stay in class and leave. And so the important note here is that my mom told me, you haven't tried it yet. You haven't tried chemistry yet. And so she encouraged me. She said, if you didn't try it, how can you judge it from now? Please try it, and then later on, if you want to leave, you can leave. It's your decision. And so I was like, okay, I'll go. And I attended the first session, and I was obsessed. I loved chemistry from that first day. It had a lot of math. It was very different from what I expected. And so I started liking science. Science meant something different. It's no longer the class in school. It's more this analytical journey where I solve problems using math and numbers. And so it was very fun. And then afterwards, my third turning point is when I went abroad. So I did my entire high school in Saudi, and then I got the opportunity to study in the US, which was a completely different culture, completely different academic journey. And so I was very excited because I knew that my interest lied in science and in engineering. And so I went there, and I got one of the best educations at MIT. I studied there mechanical engineering, and I really immersed myself in the STEM culture, in the engineering culture. Like, I did everything that I could to train myself to become an engineer. And now, at this turning point in my life, I don't know what's ahead, but now I started working at Tesla, which is a very exciting place to be. It's like one of the hubs for engineering, and so I'm very excited for my next chapter.
Oh, that's amazing. And I love how you point out that there were kind of two influencers, at least, that helped you during these turning points, one being your teacher and the other being your mother.
Yeah.
And I think as we talk about human capabilities and how we build capabilities for the future, we're always talking about the role of teachers and the role of education, because education really is that pathway.
Right.
And it's so interesting to hear that that is really true to your story and to your
Very much
journey.
so. Yeah.
And not only teachers, but we talk about the household, the role that families play, the role that parents play, and parental engagement is one of the variables that often shows the difference in success rate for students.
Yeah, I really agree with that. It played a pivotal role in my life, the support I got from my parents, from the institutions, from my teachers. It's very important. And also friends, I have to say. I didn't mention them, but they were a big support, of course, throughout it all.
If you have the right kind of peer pressure, it can always
Yes.
be good.
Yes.
So then what are some of the valuable lessons that you've learned throughout that journey of finding your way and making it to Tesla?
Yeah, I think one of the important things I've learned is that learning takes time. So when you're in high school, everything can be maybe learned easily because you can memorize and then you think you learned, right? But then once you go to the real world, there are actual thinking, actual changes in behavior, in cognitive thinking. And those things take time. You won't suddenly be able to solve your problem set in 4 hours. It will probably take 13 hours, 18 hours in the beginning, and then the more you practice, it becomes an inherent skill, and then you can do the thing that you wanted to do. And so learning takes time, and then the other thing about learning, which is very important, is something I really think about, is how I'm able to learn. The other thing I've learned is that you can sometimes develop a habit to brush off learning. So you have something, you're like, I'll think about it later. And that thing, it will cascade eventually. It could. I'm not saying everyone will do it. I personally fell into that. And I'm like, okay, I have this problem. I can use the calculator, figure it out, solve the linear system. I don't have to do it by hand. I'll do it later. And then suddenly, all of my thinking becomes very inherent and very dependent upon something else. And so I think really investing your time and doing it to learn and putting in the effort is really something that can help you gain all of those skills. And then the second part that I really think about a lot is also time. So I think about learning and time. And so with time in the beginning, when I was in high school, I've had a lot of time actually. And there weren't enough opportunities for me to spend all my time. I still had so much extra time afterwards. So it was very easy for me to feel very good about myself, that I've utilized my time correctly because I signed up for everything there was, and I still had more time. And so that was very easy. But then the challenging thing is once you reach a certain point, you have so many opportunities, so many things you can spend your time in, and you have to choose what those opportunities are. You can get so many positions that you can choose from, and then you have to think about, oh, what do I really want? How do I want to spend my time? And so that becomes very, very important, and it's a skill that I think is very important for everyone to develop.
Okay. So far what I've heard from you is that Aljazzi is an ambitious, focused, organized, well-managed time.
So.
Manage your time really well.
Yeah.
And I think what I'm also hearing and seeing is that there is an internal motivation that's driving you, an internal motivation that's pushing you. So this is us getting to know Aljazzi a little bit more and understanding almost the characteristics of future leaders. So what would you say are points of failure or points where you had to learn something new and it just didn't go the way you anticipated or hoped?
Yes, I'm gonna touch back upon the point where I joined the Chemistry Olympiad. So I was in the Chemistry Olympiad. I absolutely loved it. And I was always internalizing myself on the international stage, winning a medal. That was my goal. That's what I was thinking about. And so I had this very large ambitions. And then at a moment in time, after years of practice and training, I did not make it to the team. And so that point in my life was a big turning point and a big hit. And it's the first time where I felt, okay, wow, I can't achieve my dream anymore. It's no longer possible. And so I had to deal with that. And I remember because I put a lot of stress on myself. I really put a lot of stress on myself, and it was internally put. Nobody from outside was like, you should do it. I wanted to do it. And so when I faced that failure for the first time, I was like, okay, what am I gonna do? Now I have so much time, and I really like doing science. What am I gonna do? And so I started just opening the books, alone in my free time. I had like extra books. And I just started learning. I just spent my time learning. I look at like the index and I'm like, okay, this seems interesting. I'm gonna learn it. I read the book and then I go online and then I read more about it. So I like try to learn and try to learn and try to learn. And I think that's how I dealt with my failures. Like, okay, this went, but at least I can still preserve my love for learning this thing. And I ended up actually, so we had a national test, a part of Mawhiba's advanced curriculum. And that was not my intention. I didn't mean to. I just went to the test and I just answered my questions. And apparently I got the top score like across the nation in chemistry. And the second best score like across physics, math, and chemistry.
MashaAllah.
And so it was like a big surprise. I was like, okay, like I didn't do the Olympiad, but I did this. Like I was able to put my energy somewhere else. And I think that's how I've been dealing with a lot of failures. When I don't get an opportunity, I focus on something else and I try to put my energy into it. And I think having this mindset of that this like very specific thing is not really the goal. It's more like the journey, or what you learn from out of it is the goal. Like the name is not important. Like if you don't get into Tesla, it's not the end all be all. Like you have to think about why you wanted to get in Tesla and you can achieve it somewhere else.
Yeah.
So I think that thinking has been...
Yeah. I love that you touch upon this notion and idea of mindsets.
Yeah.
We're always talking about, you know, you have to have the right mindset, think positively, but that's actually really harder to say than to do. And I think one of our themes here at the conference is how do we build resilience, right, to overcome uncertainties. And what you're saying, essentially, the advice you're giving us here is overcome resilience. Even if there's a failure, look at the other options, find how to use your passion and your interest and channel that somewhere else that also gives you self-satisfaction. And you'll see that you're still, maybe it's not the path you envisioned, but you still find, if you're dedicated, that pathway to get you to your goal.
There are so many paths to success, and if you focus on a single path, you think that's the way, it's really not the correct way to think about it, in my opinion, and I really agree with that.
And so in the few minutes that we have left, can you tell us now at this stage in your life, and I'll be curious 10 years from now, I hope I still know you and I can ask you this question then too, what does success look like for Aljazzi?
For me, success is very simple. It's like it's a state. It's a state of mind. It's an internal state that I feel. And success would look like I'm having fun in my job. I really like what I'm doing. I'm still a nice person. And I still can contribute to my community and make an impact. I feel like I'm doing something positive to whatever I define as a community. It can even be something very small. For me, that's how I see myself.
Okay. And then what advice do you have to young Saudis, particularly young female Saudis who are looking to work in the science, engineering, technology fields?
This is a very important question for me, because I was thinking about what would I tell myself if, like, the younger me, and I think one of the things that we would have agreed on is that it's fun. Like, if you're thinking about a STEM career, you probably think STEM is fun. And so I think I want you to carry that with you, because it's really fun. And then the second part of it is that you really can do it. It's not as complicated as it seems. Like, people always mention rocket science as something that's complicated. But then once you learn it and you learn like all the principles and the physics behind it, you're like, okay, this complexity is now more tangible. And I think the idea that you can do it, you can learn it, is something very important. And then the third thing is, like, I think something that's helpful to me personally is look at examples of others that made it. And I think once you follow their paths, you connect with people with similar goals and think about the people, your role models. I think that really helps you through your journey.
Okay. Thank you so much, Aljazzi. يعطيكي ألف عافية. I enjoyed the session. I hope you all also had a good time listening to Aljazzi. Thank you so much.